Formula 1 is the pinnacle of motorsport. The fastest cars, the greatest drivers, and the biggest challenge. So it is only natural that motorsport fans would want to race in these cars as well. And so, the F1 video games were created. For the purposes of this video, I will focus on the Codemasters F1 video game series, but in case you are interested in other aspects of the racing genre, other than racing the cars that is, I can recommend you try the F1 Team Manager on Steam or F1 Clash for mobile phones. Not sponsored, just the games I like to play from time to time. They are pretty good. Now, I obviously haven't played all the F1 games ever made, so I will only rate the ones I have experience with. Not like you can officially buy the old ones anyway, so who really cares? This is all just my opinion after all. So, let's get into it. Right about now, you might be saying to yourself, no way this is the worst F1 game Codemasters ever made. And you'd be right. Technically, it's not the worst one, but it is the most disappointing one, at least for me. Even if the older games don't have all the cool features this one does, they were made more than 10 years ago. Compared to its predecessor, F1 24 is just a straight up downgrade. Worse handling, worse AI, and with the fact that the F1 grid has barely changed from 2023, it's not even an update to that. It's actually just F1 2023, but worse. And the reviews and the sales reflect that. As F1 fans, let's just hope that EA and Codemasters will take the criticism to heart. F1 21 was always going to be controversial with EA getting involved and all. If you're looking for detailed reviews of the games, then this is not your video. I will keep it simple and to the point. Breaking point being the story mode for F1 games was extremely underwhelming. It's literally just a bunch of cutscenes in between the races. Oh, and the microtransactions. Again, the game isn't completely terrible. If you're just looking to race the fastest open-wheelers in the world, it's a fine experience. But everything around it is disappointing. Personally, I don't see a single reason to buy this game over the 2020 version. As a huge fan of the 2012 F1 season, this one was a bit of a letdown. It is the second F1 game I have ever played, with F1 2023 being the first one, and while I of course expected it to be less advanced with it releasing 11 years prior, this was a bit of a shocker. The AI has literally no idea how to drive, even compared to me who just handles the basic concepts. Also, why is there no Grand Prix mode? All things considered, it's an alright game, but as you will see later on the list, there is no real reason to buy this version of the game. This is what I would consider the perfectly average F1 game. It doesn't do anything specifically better than the newer or the older games. The big change for this game are the cars themselves. 2017 was the year F1 introduced the second generation of hybrid-powered cars. The game is not bad, but compared to the other ones, it's not anything special. If you love the 2017 season, the drivers on the grid, or anything era-specific, this is an alright purchase. But if you're looking for a great gaming experience, you might want to look a bit further. I almost put this game higher, but in the end I just couldn't do it. While I love the aesthetic of the game, mainly looking at the gorgeous 3D menu being literally in the paddock, one of the best sound designs in the series, and fantastic handling of the cars, the color palette is a bit too washed out, and it is quite a bare bones version of what the F1 games would become. Still a good experience though. I do like this game, but I can also attest that this will not be everyone's cup of tea. There are a number of bugs you are very likely to run into throughout your playthrough, mostly dealing with the AI. But if you're looking for a cool aesthetic experience from the time, this might just be your game. Polished 2012 game. That's basically it. If you like the old high-nose cars, this is the game to buy. It makes the F1 2012 obsolete. The graphics, menu, AI, animations, essentially everything is just a bit more complex, detailed, and by extension, better. The first game on this list I would consider as worth buying, even if you own the later variations. Once again, if you're looking for a detailed review, there are many of those on YouTube, so go check those out if you're not sure. But as far as I'm concerned, this is where it starts getting good. This was my first F1 game, and it was great. It has the best car handling in the series, no doubt. I love the better looking, partially 3D menu, even though it's not the 2010 one, it's still pretty good. Red flags are added back in. Now, it's not great all around. Some features are fantastic, like keeping the addition of my team in the career mode or the car handling, but it also has some underwhelming parts like the multiplayer. Overall though, I love this game. It got me into the F1 gaming world after all. The 2023 F1 season, when being able to influence some aspects, Red Bull domination, is pretty good as well, and the aesthetic feeling is sort of back in. It built on the Drive to Survive hype really well, and is a really good F1 game all things considered. F1 2019 is the first game from the series that got me addicted. Don't get me wrong, I loved the F1 23, but it felt like a game. F1 19 is an experience. It might also have something to do with this year's schedule being more favored towards my driving style, but I digress. It also introduces F2 into the game, alongside some other features that I absolutely loved. As said already, I enjoyed the early 2010 seasons, and I can get that here as well, being able to drive the 2010's Ferrari, McLaren or a Red Bull, or the 2007 Ferrari, or the 2003 Williams, just some of my favorites. A unique multiplayer car? Check. Massive upgrade tree in the career mode? Check. Managing car parts? Check. Everything here is brilliant, and there is just one simple reason why this game isn't at the number 1 spot. And that is... just like F1 2013 is a polished 2012, you could make the argument that the F1 20 is a polished F1 19. The addition of My Team feature makes a really big difference. You can now not only race for your own 11th team on the grid, but manage it as well. Drivers, salaries, sponsors, everything. The multiplayer is fantastic as well, which really benefits the longevity. There are some funny bugs in the game, but for me it all just adds to the experience. Sure, if you're looking for a perfect sim racing game, F1 23 does beat it, but at that point you might as well play a race room racing experience or something. Not to say that the handling in this game is bad or anything though. F1 20 came out during the pandemic, with the actual F1 drivers playing a ton of F1 19, so the developers had more data and feedback than ever to make this game truly the best. And it paid off. Driving feels a lot more natural, there is no need to micromanage everything, it just works as intended. For me, there is simply nothing missing in this game. Well, that was my list of the Codemasters F1 games. Once again, this is all just my experience and my opinion, but I know no one will listen, so go ahead and commit a lyrical murder in the comment section. Even with everything being said, I did enjoy playing pretty much all of these games, no matter where I rank them. Some are just more worthwhile than others, so keep that in mind. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.